Good morning, everybody. Jim Williams here. Pilot Truck Stop, Hammond, Louisiana. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. That's why it looks still dark out there. I just got back from a nice, warm, soothing shower. Shaved, washed hair and all my body parts, and shaved and tried not to amputate my nose. And anyway, back in the truck, and I'm kind of ahead of schedule here. I don't actually have to leave to make my delivery until later. So I thought I would take a moment and show you how the Qualcomm communication system on the truck works. Here we go. This is the Qualcomm unit on our trucks. Many trucking companies use the Qualcomm system. Qualcomm is simply the name of the company that developed and markets and services the system. There are other systems, but this is sort of the most used system, I think. And this is what the unit looks like. You have to type stuff down here and stuff shows up there and all that stuff. Anyway, this is the home page. You can send messages back and forth to your fleet manager and some other departments in the company. Here's the hours of service, which we'll get back to in just a second. The navigation system is a top-notch GPS and performance monitoring. That's where you can check your fuel mileage and stuff of that nature. Scanning. We actually have the ability, instead of stopping at a truck stop to send our paperwork in after a trip, we can scan our trip paperwork right from our truck. That's pretty cool. It's the first company I've ever been with where you could do that. As a media manager, that's where you get important messages from the company. Well, just almost any topic that they see as important for you to get. Anyway, I want to go down to hours of service. So we touch the hours of service on the screen, and up pops our hours of service. Let's start with this tab, summary, right here. The truck driver has to deal with 4 time clocks. As you can see, for today, I have 8 hours remaining on my, that's the top line up there, on my 8-hour clock. I have 11 hours remaining today on my 11-hour clock. I have 14 hours, that's the third line, 14 hours left on my 14-hour clock. And I have 12 hours and 44 minutes remaining on my 70-hour clock. Stay awake with me now. Stay awake. Don't fall asleep. All right, here we go. Let's start with the 14-hour clock. That's line 3 there. When you start work on any given day, the 14-hour clock starts counting down. And when it gets down to 0, you can no longer drive or work for that period of time. Once it starts ticking, doesn't stop until it gets down to 0. And if you start at 6 o'clock in the morning, 14 hours later is going to be 8 o'clock at night, or 2000 hours if you use military time. That's a 14-hour day. Most of my days are 14-hour days. Not all of them, but most of them are. That 14-hour day could also begin by you going on duty, even though you're not driving, for something like getting fuel. The 11-hour clock, that's the second line, that is your driving time. Once you start driving, that 11-hour clock starts ticking down. But unlike the 14-hour clock, when you are not driving, the 11-hour clock stops ticking and doesn't start ticking again until you start driving again. The 14-hour clock ticking down continuously could actually pass the time of your driving. In other words, you can have, say, 6 hours left of driving time, but your 14-hour clock is ticked down to 5 hours. So that means you can only drive for 5 hours, not 6 hours. Now that 8-hour clock on the top up there, that one right there. So this new rule that started in July says that you can only drive 8 hours without taking a 30-minute off-duty break. Now the 8-hour clock runs continuously just like the 14-hour clock. But like I said, it resets when you take a 30-minute break, off-duty or sleeping. Then there's the 70-hour clock. The 70-hour clock is a rule that says you can only work 70 hours on duty, driving and not driving on duty, every 8 days. Now that's a rolling 8-day period, meaning that when you come to the 9th day, whatever hours you worked on the first day, you gain them back. So it's just a continuous rolling 70 hours every 8 days. As you can see, I have 12 hours and 44 minutes left on my 70-hour clock. As although I have a 14-hour work day I can work, because of the 70-hour rule, I really can only work 12 hours and 44 minutes. The lowest number rules. The lowest number rules. When I start driving later this morning, I only can drive by the 8-hour clock until I take a 30-minute break. But at some point during the day, the 70-hour clock is going to bypass the 8-hour clock and probably bypass the 11-hour clock, and obviously it's already bypassed the 14-hour clock. So the point is, today, I can only work 12 hours. Confusing? Well, it's only confusing if you're not used to it. Once you get used to it, it's no big deal. I was used to the paper logs, and I enjoyed writing and drawing the little lines and all that stuff. I mean, I'm just that kind of a detail person. One of the things I like about it is that the hours of service clocks, the ones I just showed you, count every individual minute, where the old paper logs, you only logged every 15 minutes. Okay, so that's the Qualcomm. Hope you found that interesting. If you didn't find it interesting, smile anyway. Somewhere down the road I'll do something that you will like, maybe. I wanted to show it to you so that you'd have an idea of what that was all about. Okay, well listen, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, now it's your turn. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you thought about the Qualcomm. If you're a truck driver, do you use a Qualcomm? Is that what y'all use with your company? Or do you still use the paper logs? And if you thought the video was interesting, then I would appreciate it if you give it a thumbs up and that you leave a comment telling me if you liked it or not. And then, if you'd repost it, send it to your friends, let them check it out. Might be something they would be interested in. And if you haven't subscribed, then I would appreciate it if you would subscribe as well. You have a great day, and I will see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.
Great.